Guess who's back? It's me, John. Back on learning React on Scrimba. When did I last post a video? Oh dear, I've had a week off on holiday and my schedule has all gone to shit. I've not done anything on this course for nigh on 2 weeks, which is terrible. Last one I did was 21st of May, which was the quick Figma walkthrough. So I've been doing bits. I've been doing bits on my local React app. So I have been doing stuff, but just none of the learning. So I'm a bit more au fait with learning and running React in a local environment, which is good. i.e. not using CDMs. I've watched a pretty good video about NPM, which makes things a lot clearer about that. But anyway, back on track. So this video is me going through, as you can see there, I've made these new jazzy, that one there. It's weird, this camera angle. The Navbar Styling. Might be a bit big, that actually, so I might take that graphic of the overlay down. So yeah, you won't be seeing this anymore. Yeah, it looks shit that in comparison, doesn't it? I like the animation though. But yeah, this is about Navbar Styling. So let's get cracking. Shift F7 on StreamYard. Nice little shortcut there. Away you go, Bob. Sorry I've been away for so long.
Couple pieces of advice. I highly recommend you reference the Figma. Okay, this is the fun part. We're actually going to make our navigation bar look the way that it looks in the design. A couple pieces of advice. I highly recommend you reference the Figma file that contains all of the fonts, colors, spacing, and everything instead of just looking at this quick reference that I've put here, but this is meant to be just a quick reference for you if you need it. Another thing is I have added a couple of base styles to our styles.css. I ran into some problems trying to record this without putting my box sizing. And just because it helps a lot, I'm going to remove the margin on the body, especially to make our navigation bar all the way to the edges. Also notice that I have included the React icon small image here inside of the images folder. You can see that's part of the design up here in the upper left. So without further ado, pause the screencast and make the navigation bar look as close to our design as you can.
Shit. Right, where was he? Make it look as close to his design as possible. Right, so that's the design. No, I remember what I've been doing. I remember now. So what I've been doing is running this on my own local build, and I've built that pretty much on my local build. So that's what I've been doing, I remember now. But I've just not done it in Scrimba. So technically I should be a wizard at this, shouldn't I? Right, let's get it to match. So let's just get that out of the way a minute. A bit smaller. What's the challenge then? Complete the navbar to match the design. Hint, use the Figma file for the most accurate peak. That design, colour, fonts, font sizes. Right. I'm hungry. I can't be arsed doing this. So guess I've already done it. Right, I've got the Figma file up. You can't see me messing with it, unfortunately. Let's get it up. That's the first thing we need is to grab the background code, color code. So I've got that in Figma now. That's the code there. So with that in mind, let's go to our styles.css. Let's go header. That's autocomplete. What's that stupid curly brace it keeps putting in? That should work. It says. Right, navbar, so that's looking at the navbar component, which is there. What have I done? I've pulled that for some reason. Complete the navbar to watch the. Right, so this needs a. Well, it's not applied, it doesn't even exist. There you go. Job done. Right, has header got some default padding around it? I bet it has. Which one? Stop it. Right, what I'm going to do. Global reset everything. What star means it's like a global selector. It will select absolutely every element on the screen. Like whatever rules you set here. Apply, you mother. What's going on? Where's the little run thing gone? There. Right, why is this weird gap coming? It's still working. Yeah. Why the frig is there a gap there? I need web inspector to see what's going on. No web inspector. Oh, you fucked to think of web inspector then. Where is it? What the fuck was that? What's going on there? That does not make sense. There shouldn't be a gap there. If I have set everything. Is there anything else weird in HTML above it? No. There. Is it this container? Shouldn't be. Because I've blitzed it all. Oh, no. Okay, container's there. That is there. Where the hell is it getting this white space from? Can't be asked. Bob, show me.
All
I've
right,
done it
let's
all.
do
I've
this.
done it.
Instead of rendering an H1, I'm going to open this up and render a nav element because this is a navigation bar. And inside of there, we know we have an image. We'll give it its source while we're here. I have to use /images because I'm inside of the components folder when I'm here in the navbar. And it's React icon small .png. Let's just refresh and see if that's working. Okay, cool. And let's call this maybe an H3, I guess, and maybe this an H4. It really doesn't matter because, well, you could just give it a class name and call it a paragraph, but I'll just call it an H3 and H4. This one says React Facts, and this one says React Course Project 1. Okay, refresh that, and we've got our elements on the screen. Now, we talked about earlier how the navbar will probably be a Flexbox container. So I think because I'm only going to have one nav element on my screen, I'm just going to style the element nav. If you want, you could always give it a class name as well. I'm going to put display flex. We'll say align items in the center. From the design, we can find that the background color is this color here. It also looks like it has about 30 pixels of padding on the top and bottom and 25 pixels of padding on the left and right. And we can also see from the design that it has a height of about 90 pixels. Okay, so it doesn't look like our top and bottom margin is applying, and I suspect that's either because our image is a little bit too large, or I think maybe more likely because our H3 and H4 here have some top and bottom margin by default. So I think I might just select the H3 directly inside of the nav. Let's say margin is 0, and then let's see if that also works for the H4. Okay, it might be that the image is just a little too large. Let's take a look at the image, and it looks like from the design, it's got a height of about 30 pixels. Okay, so maybe our padding is doing fine, and it was just that the image was a little bit large. While we're here dealing with the image, I'm going to give it a margin right, just to bump it away from the text there a little bit. We'll say, I think the design shows it's about 7 pixels. That looks pretty good. And let's go ahead and use the margin right of auto on our H3 just to bump that H4 all the way to the right side. Cool. All right. Well, while we're working on that, we can go ahead and give the color to our React facts. So we'll say the color is this color from the design. Okay, that does it for the color. Let's get the fonts right. And actually, I think all of the fonts on this page are Inter, so I'm just going to change that in the body. We'll say Inter, and then I think a backup of sans serif makes sense. Let me just comment this out. Yeah, okay, so that's making a difference. So awesome. Our Google fonts are coming through just fine. I can also see from the design that the React Facts logo words there have a font weight of 700. So we'll bold those up a little bit, or maybe that's the default. Doesn't look like it's making much of a difference. And then let's do the same thing for our H4. It has this color from the design, and it looks like it has a font weight of 600. Okay, that's making a slight difference. So that's good. And it kind of looks to me like React Facts maybe needs to be a little bit bigger. And yeah, I can see from the design that it has a font size of something around 22 pixels. Okay, that's looking awesome. Now, when I can avoid it,
Right. This is just all CSS, pretty much. Or is it?
name equals, and then up here, maybe I'll use something kind of like BEM syntax. I'll say this is part of the nav block, and the element is the icon. And then we'll say this is the nav block, and the element is it's kind of like the logo text. And this one is part of the nav, and let's call it maybe like the title of our project here. And what's nice about that is I don't have to do these kind of nested selectors anymore. My H3 was nav logo text, and I can also select my nav title and change these other selectors as well. And one thing I've learned about Scrimba is I have to make sure I save this when I change my class names before I come to the CSS. Otherwise, the CSS updates live, but the markup does not. So once I hit refresh there, that kind of put everything back the way it was. Awesome. This is a really excellent start. Frankly, most of what we did here was just CSS instead of actually doing React. But my goal with this
Which is what I just said.
course is not just to focus entirely on React. I want to synthesize some of the information you have been learning so far, including
Synthesize some of the information. Synthesize means make up or fake. What does he mean?
including revisiting the CSS and markup and stuff like that as much as we can. Frankly, in this first section of the course, we aren't doing much of the detailed side of React. We mostly have just learned some of the very basic syntax. But I think it's important for us to kind of remind ourselves of the past information we've learned by practicing it here. So the next thing we're going to do is fill out the body section here, or the main section here. There's a couple of gotchas with this that we're going to actually address later. But whenever you feel good about everything we've done here in this challenge, then let's move on to the next one.
Do we all feel good? Let's leave that. Let's stop sharing there. I'm going to share my entire screen with you just to show you. Let's get that worked. That's how virtual desktop worked. Get that over there. As you can see on Amazon, looking at a new Elgato key light. That's not the one I want to show. This is the one. Because I'm on a widescreen monitor and it's all squished. Never do that. No. I want this to go full screen. Get me off. No. Change the resolution. No, I'm not going to piss around with that. Right, so if you can see this, I'll just get rid of the terminal. Try to make it a bit bigger for you to read. Something made it any better. Just wanted to show you I've been doing something and I'm not cheating. So this is here. This is my first React app, as you can see there, which I've created with the Create React app. And I've also got some Sass running here. It's kind of a bit of a pain in the arse to write CSS. So if you see, I have actually done it. Make that a bit bigger. See? This is what I've done. All in React, all native, all running on NPM. There's my package. NPM scripts. As you can see, I've changed here. Auto refresh. Change that back. There's a lot of messing about to get these coloured bullets actually. See there? Using these weird pseudo selectors. It's not out of the box what you can do, just go and change coloured bullets. Weird, eh? But yeah, so that's how far I've got. The only thing I was struggling with was this logo in the middle. So I've been intrigued to find out how he centre aligned that and just had it jutting off the edge. I've put it as a background image. Again, doing CSS background images in React ain't straightforward, as you can see there. But to kind of inline CSS styles within the development in the JSX. Now, the reason why I'm looking at one of those Elgato lights is because I can't be arsed standing up to turn my new ones on. This one you can control via the internet, via your computer. Anyway, that was Navbar Styling done. Bit of a crap video this, but I'm back on the horse, as it were, in recording videos. Navbar Styling done. Next up, we're going to have main section, which I'm guessing is going to be pretty much the same as this one, which we've just covered. I have already done it, but we'll watch Bob doing it on the next lesson.